One Samuel Ortom, the ex-governor of Benue State, was squeezed by the EFCC on Tuesday. He is being investigated for alleged embezzlement during his time in office. Ortom willingly went to the EFCC headquarters in Abuja for questioning. The debt of Benue State is reported to be 187.7 billion naira. Ortom had previously promised to remain in the country for 5 months to address any inquiries about his tenure and cooperate with the anti-corruption agencies if needed.
This automobile workshop, located along Makudi-Odupo Road, within Makudi, Benue State's administrative capital, was the venue of the latest sting operation of the Assets Recovery Committee instituted by the state government. It is owned by the immediate past governor of the state, Samuel Ortom. About 30 vehicles, which the committee claimed belonged to the state government, were then forcefully opened and towed away from the premises.
And we've been doing quiet tracing of the properties of government, both movable and immovable assets, but mostly vehicles that were bought between 2015 and 2023. We discovered from the records that most, if not all, of the vehicles that were bought between this period were taken away by some persons.
This is vendetta. It is a witch hunt. It is persecution. All former governors of the state left with their vehicles, the vehicles that were officially allocated to them. And Governor Samuel Ortom's case cannot be an exception. Before the tenure of his administration elapsed, the State Executive Council made a resolution and asked him and his deputy and other appointees of that administration to leave with their vehicles.
The unfortunate thing is some persons are going to defend this because, of course, they are more partisan, either to their political party, their religious group, their ethnic society, or to nonsense. People are just partisan to nonsense, nuisance, and they don't have sense. So it's okay for them to condone, support, applaud, things like this. But it's really, really nauseating, right? But Samuel Ortom, I didn't expect you to be a perfect man, but you disappointed me. Of course, following the administration of your government in Benue State, I noticed there were a couple of lapses here and there, especially in the adjudication of civic social responsibility to the people. And then I also heard you weeping profusely on several fora, complaining of federal government not coming to your aid. And then this has been my problem. You campaign to be voted for as governor. You get to office as governor, and then you begin to cry or weep or wait for external forces to come and help you deliver dividends of democracy to the people. If you knew you needed an external influence or support, then your campaign would have made it very clear that everything I needed to do would be done considering a secondary support system. But of course, this is an all-time low. And this is different between us and the rest of them on the other side of the divide. And I've said this several times. For us, even if you are of us, you are from us, you are with us, and you break the rules, you go against norms, you go against values and principles, you go against the order of what it means to be a true leader, we'll call you out. That's why we are calling Samuel Ortom out today. It's disappointing, right? Very disappointing. And then I didn't want to. I saw the video at first. I just read, okay, maybe like the media, it's a political vendetta a lot of times and all that. We'll talk about that quite later. But then the media agree that it was vehicles, that government. And then it begins to bother the question: what did you do as governor of Benue State, Samuel? Samuel Ortom. Yeah, he supported Peter Obi, and even though some people said it was politics all through, you made it very bold that you like the personality. But how come the values and principles do not reflect in your style of leadership? right? And they had a couple of months to the end of your government. You would have been able to right a lot of wrongs and correct a lot of your mistakes. But then this is an all-time low. This is an all-time. And I'm saying this here now because a lot of you Nigerians still think that our current framework, structure, system make it any way possible for us to qualify for anything of good governance. Samuel Ortom, good in words, but look at his actions. Actually wanted to convince a lot of persons, especially the Obidients family, of an intention of realizing the capacity, character, competence, and compassion of Mr. Peter Obi. And of course, he supported him in his words. I don't know how far with other internal structures and workings, right? That's not the problem right now. But this, and then I've always said it. I think I'm one of the few persons that said it repeatedly, that the support I gave to Peter Obi for being to have been president of Nigeria, which of course by the grace of God will still come to pass, is because it's not because that it is Southeastern Anton or is a Christian or that he sounded like he was closer to me. Never. For all the presidential candidates that campaigned to have been president of this country for the 2023 general elections, he was the better of them all. And I've said it with due respect to all of us in the Obedient family. He's not the best Nigerian that can be president of this country at the moment. He's the better of those that campaign to be president. And that's why I said repeatedly. And if for any reason, from now till tomorrow, next month, next week, I find anything worthy that Peter Obi breaks the principles and values of what I think leadership is, what I know it should be, and then I see that he's deviantly away from what is supposed to be, from the character of him, the lifestyle that I pictured, I walk away. I've been trained and groomed to that point. I walk away. I don't support and follow foolishly. I walked away from several unions and relationships, even the ones that people thought, no, you wouldn't have walked away. But I walked away. If I find it unworthy, I'll take a walk. And so for now, that's why I'm not so pleased with those of us who are jumping here and there, hyping and again, with all due respect. Unfortunately, Reverend Father Hyacinth, the new governor of Benue State, is doing his job. Part of the things that he needs to do what he's doing now, right? Although the media aides, in the video you're going to watch later, said that he should hit the ground running and not be a witch hunting. But it's part of the duties of governor. But my only problem with this system in Nigeria is that people create asset recovery committee to recover asset of past government to come and loot it themselves. We are seeing news of Abacha loot being returned every day. But today, I think Sarah had sued the federal government and mandated Tinubu to give reports of what has happened to all the loot of Abacha. The loot has been looted. Nigeria, a new government comes to power, set up an asset recovery probe committee and whatever they call it to review workings of the past government, recover stolen loot, use all machineries available, and then loot it, because you still cannot see the influence, the benefit of such assets that were recovered in our society. Nothing, right? And like I said to somebody in the comment section on one of my videos a while ago, Bola Tinubu started all this, right? He started it. Upon leaving office as governor, he became God. He wasn't to be questioned. Until today, I'm saying it. If a serious government comes to power in Lagos, a lot of things will be unraveled. Nobody, no matter what you have done for a people, even Jesus Christ that came to share his life for us, still left and allowed us to have a review of his lifestyle. Any government that leaves power, I do not make it possible for him to be probed, for him to be. Even Governor Wike and the rest of all these guys. Adams Oshomole left Labour as a big-time Labour person, talking, acting, going to prisons for Nigerians, only for him to become governor of Edo State. Did what he could do, but there is a 30 billion naira water storm project that is yet to account for, right? And then these are the problems. People seemingly continually begin to loot the people. They use the people, manipulate the people, get benefit of themselves, build houses. What does Governor Ortom need 30 SUVs for? What does he need it for? for a people that were killed daily, for a state we governed where people were being slaughtered and murdered daily. That money would have been used to create a strong community policing system that would have been able to protect the people, to at least allow the people go to farm. Part of the things why we're having problem today, why food is expensive, is that Benue State, was supposed to be the food basket of the nation, people couldn't go to farm again because herdsmen took over the bushes, unknown government took over the farmlands, and it became impossible. Whereas there was a governor who felt he had to leave office with 30 cars, lifestyles, 30 SUVs. This is plus and minus the ones that he currently has. Oh. And then I see you guys celebrate Wiki and all these guys. Of course, for Benin saying until they catch you, you are clean. You are innocent until you are caught. Now they catch me thief. But the truth is, we know the current oligarchs of our political structure, the current set of people there, they don't mean well for the people. It is for themselves and themselves only. Their concentration is about what they are going to get. They don't care what you think about it. Samuel Ortom disappointed us. And of course, we are not expecting so much. Nobody is expecting you to have been perfect. But then, the people suffer too much for you to have done this to them. Goodbye.
This is vendetta. It is a witch hunt. It is persecution. The current administration has not hidden its decision, its resolve to torment the immediate past governor of Benue State, Samuel Ortom. And what you are seeing is just that manifestation. As we said in that statement, all former governors of the state left with their vehicles, the vehicles that were officially allocated to them. And Governor Samuel Ortom's case cannot be an exception. Before the tenure of his administration elapsed, the State Executive Council made a resolution and asked him and his deputy and other appointees of that administration to leave with their vehicles. So it appears that the current government is yet to look into the extracts of the exco and hand over notes. If they have done, if they do that, and when they do it, they will realize that Chief Ortom has not done anything illegal. It has been the tradition. And even members of this current government, the chief of staff to the governor, is a former lawmaker of the state, was a majority leader, and he left government with official vehicles. The chairman of the Assets Recovery Committee, Honorable Hingabiem, is a former appointee of government, and he left government with official vehicles. And many others, like the former speaker, Tekimbi Kange, who are also members of the committee. Many of them, like Nick Ewero, many of these people have official vehicles. So what are they telling us, if not witch hunt? So it's quite sad, it's unfortunate, but like someone said, perhaps the earlier administration is using the witch hunt of Samuel Ortom to cover up what the people are saying, poor start. Because they are yet to fulfill any of those promises that they made to the people. And we expected that should be the starting point. Governments come and go. He is here today. Of course, he will buy vehicles. And when he's leaving, his government will do what has been done over the years of asking him to leave with the vehicles. And I don't think that is a crime. That is not a crime. We are in court. When they set the Assets Recovery Committee, they set it up and made Chief Ortom the target. We didn't hesitate. We went to court, and that matter is still in court. I am not a judge to say it is contempt of court, but what I have said is that this matter is in court. So a law-abiding government would have waited for the court to pass its verdict before they go ahead and make any further decisions. But here are they, harassing past government officials, the former governor himself, and so on. So it's quite sad. But we have advised the governor that Benue people are waiting for the fulfillment of those promises that he made to them. So he should bend down and work, focus on delivering the dividends of democracy to the people, instead of, chasing his predecessor up and down, chasing him from street to street. That is not what governance is about. When you are elected, you serve the people, and you look at your blueprint and hit the ground running.